Have you been confused about a narcissist coming back into your life? Maybe you've seen this be a cycle or a pattern over and over and over again where he keeps coming back into your life. You keep being like, no, I don't want this. You keep breaking up. He keeps leaving you, whatever it might be. And you think it's over, but then he comes back. Maybe you're wondering why narcissists start to do this process called hoovering, where they actually come back into the relationship or they bring you back into the relationship over and over and over again. But it doesn't really seem like true change or transformation actually happens. What's going on with that? Why is this actually happening? Today, we're going to break down some of this aspect called hoovering. For those of you that don't know what it is, we'll break that down of what it actually is and then what it actually looks like in the relationship and what's going on inside the narcissist pulling you back over and over and over again. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I show people, hey, this is my experience. This is what I've done. This is all the stuff that's in my past, saying this is what's happened and trying to help people understand the destructive nature of narcissistic abuse, how it destroys lives. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the NARC app, and your guide in the 7-day challenge, which is Escape Toxicity. And you can access that at escapetoxicity.com. Just trying to help you understand and learn and know about narcissistic abuse. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, rate, review, share, so we try to spread the word about narcissistic abuse and how to get free. Well, oftentimes when you get free or when you get out of the relationship, it's not uncommon for a narcissist to come back and suck you back in. Now, this process is typically referred to as hoovering, based off of even the Hoover vacuum. The idea of the vacuum sucking up dirt, the narcissist ends up trying to suck you back into a toxic relationship. Over and over, people normally think that a narcissist won't come back. They think, well, he's out of my life, so why would he even come back? I exposed him, so he's not going to come back. He's married, so there's no reason why he'd come back. He's moved in with a new girlfriend, and he has a kid with her. There's no reason why he would come back. And oftentimes, this gives people a false sense of security of like, well, because all this has happened, he's not coming back, so I don't need to be the mean person and block him. What happens is you typically leave the door open, and oftentimes the narcissist comes back through that door. Now, whether it's actually back in a relationship with that person or back in a communication that starts to pull you off track of your healing journey and the growth that you actually want to do. As a lot of people say, narcissists don't come back. I'd rather you understand and believe that narcissists always come back. If you can believe that narcissists always come back, then it means you have a plan in place. It means that you have taken precautions so that there is no access that the toxic person has on you anymore. Now you're like, well, mine hasn't come back and has been 2 months. Okay, so let's break it down really quick. The longest person that I've personally coached was 37 years that the person came back. Okay, in a live event about 2 weeks ago, someone commented that it was 42 years that they resurfaced back in their life. So just to quell all concern, if you have been away from your narcissist for over 42 years, then you can say, hey, I don't think they're coming back. But if you haven't been away from them for 42 years, please stop assuming that this person is not going to come back. Especially if you have the door still open. Now, the door still open could be mentally, could be emotionally, could be physically, could be just giving access where they can still interact with you. So it's important to be able to understand that narcissists almost always come back. There's a few exceptions, okay? But as a whole, you want to plan on them coming back. Otherwise, you will be open and oftentimes susceptible to what they do, how they hoover to get you back under their control. Now, what is hoovering? We talked about it sucking you back into the toxic relationship. Remember that just a couple minutes ago? So when we talk about this aspect of hoovering, sometimes people get to the place where they think hoovering means care. Okay? Now with this, oftentimes it's like, wait a second, he left me, he gave up on me, what's wrong with me? And you start to think that your worth and your value comes from that person. That your worth and your value is dictated by that person being with or not being with you. And you start to think like, oh, he didn't care about me, so he actually didn't come back. What you need to understand with that statement is he didn't care about you, that's why he left. Not because he didn't come back. But the hard thing is I say, hey, all narcissists come back, and then someone sits in the corner and like, my narcissist didn't come back. That means there must be something wrong with me. No, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. What that means is the person in your life didn't value enough to actually be in your life, but instead he walked out on you. You need to be able to understand, because they don't come back does not mean that they didn't care. Because they left means that he didn't care. This hard part of understanding that hoovering doesn't mean care. You need to flip it around and understand that hoovering means control. When a narcissist is trying to suck you back into a toxic relationship, they're trying to control you. It is a tactic that narcissists use to maintain power and to maintain control over the victim. Like, let me do this to bring you back under the guise of what I want to do, under my power like dynamic, so that I can do what I want to do. To have you in my life, to eat my cake and eat it too, all this different kind of stuff. It's not an aspect of actual care. It's not an aspect of love. Like, when you think that it's love or that it's care, that is a story that you're believing. That is a hope. That is a piece of the trauma bond that you're trying to believe and think, maybe this is going to happen. Maybe this is real. Maybe he actually cares about me, when it's not even true. Okay? This piece of hoovering is not about care. It is about control. It is about reestablishing dominance over the other person. It's by making sure that your emotions are no longer validated. The narcissists use these tools to lure people back into the toxic relationship. Even at the end of the relationship, a narcissist will do this to manipulate, to control, to bring you back. So when my wife was getting ready to leave multiple times, she didn't, because I manipulated her back. Because I said, no, don't leave, I want you here. When in reality, I didn't. I wanted her gone so I could go do whatever I wanted to do. But I didn't want to say that, because if I said that, that would make me look like a bad person. Okay, so I didn't want to say that, wanted to avoid that, so I still looked good. She left so that I could be a victim. Awful. Not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's how it actually plays out. Okay, narcissists will use a lot of different techniques to lure you back into the relationship, to keep you in the relationship. Okay, I'm talking about love bombing, talking about like fake apologies, false vulnerability, like giving you a lot of gifts, attention, praises, apologies, to disarm you and to make you question, maybe my decision wasn't the right one. Yeah, he did cheat on me 20 times. Yeah, he was abusive. Yeah, he did put my head through a wall. But maybe, those are all real examples, by the way. It's not just made up. Okay? They'll use guilt tripping, like switching it back. Like, how could you leave me? Like, I need you. You're my person. Like, how could you leave me in my time of need? They'll use everything in the book. The thing is, a narcissist will play on your empathy to get you back, to pull you in, and to control you. This cycle of hoovering goes over and over and over again. Are you stuck in one of these? Like, not just you left the narcissist and you're going cycle of narcissistic people. Okay, that happens too. But I'm talking about where you've left the narcissist and you guys have broken up like 20 times in the past 3 years. Like, where this push-pull, back, forth, like you leave, he sucks you back. He leaves, he comes back into your life. Like, over and over and over. And it goes through the same cycle: idolization, devalue, discard, recycle. Like, it goes through over and over again. The narcissist initially comes back with this like charm, remorse, like making you think that they've changed, that it's different this time. And then 2 months later, the mask slips and it goes back to normal. Discard happens all over again. Then the next time it happens, now it's 3 weeks. Now it's 2 weeks. Now it's 1 week. Now you just let them come back all the time. Okay? Because of how they're manipulating, because of how they're controlling. Okay? Narcissists are adept at doing this, of getting back with you over and over and over again. The thing you need to understand is typically it gets worse. When you're with a toxic person and they're verbally abusing you, then you leave and you come back, that new place of where they were verbally abusing you is now the new baseline. So then now they end up physically abusing you. And then you leave and come back. Now that abuse is now the new baseline. And then it keeps going more and more and more. This is why a lot of narcissists go from just emotional abuse and verbal abuse to physical abuse to extreme violence to extreme harm. It's very important for you to be very safe and understand that you're in not just a toxic situation that is awful for your mental and emotional state, but could also put you in a place of physical danger as well. This is why it's important to get out. This is why it's also important to set up healthy boundaries so that you don't go back and you don't let this person back into your life. You might see when you break up, when you're out and the narcissist is trying to hoover you back, you'll see a lot of different things. Apologizing profusely, crying, begging on your doorstep, a promise to change. They may engage in different acts of kindness, all different things, trying to get you to the place saying, oh, I've learned from my past mistakes. And you'll see this happen without true transformation because the change is not happening for them, because of them. It's happening for you, for the relationship, because they don't want to look bad. Like, as this happens, the narcissist will fake and future fake and get you to the place where you start to believe the lies that they're doing. You start to hope that they're actually changing. And then when you get back together, it changes all over again. And this further locks you in this cycle that becomes an addictive cycle happening over and over and over again. So it's important to be able to see that hoover is not care. Hoover means control. And a narcissist will try to do this to you over and over again. Don't believe it that the narcissist is not going to come back. You need to block, ghost, go no contact. Do not give access for him to come back in your life. If you need help with that or to work through the trauma bond, contact us at rawmotivations.com. We'd love to be able to help you work through this and to process it, to rewire your mindset so you no longer go back, no longer give access, and no longer let that person dictate your healing, your growth, and your change.